Today, on Metal and Mortgages, we discuss Hasselhoff.
A man awaking from the dead.
Bernie releases his taxes.
And a kid slips LSD into coworkers' drinks.
Now, why would... Yeah, I remember her.
Here, smell these.
Hell no, I don't want to know.
3, 1.
I don't want to know what your dog's
Episode 31.
Probably had that in your own butthole.
The air cut off just now. Did you pay the bill?
Did you? I mean, it was on like 74 degrees. What looks different to you? It's not an Android, is it?
You went back to ISO.
Man, I couldn't take it. I couldn't. It's iOS, but yeah, iOS.
Yeah.
Call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I could not.
I've been talking to Alexia.
Oh, is that the Google chick?
I don't know. I don't have one of those.
Anyway, so I think it's time to hassle the Hoff. Let this play for a second, and oh, so yeah, what's up with that?
Well, Hasselhoff says he's fixing to make some heavy metal songs for his new record.
You know, he's dabbled in hard rock before. I think he did a song like 4 or 5 years ago that was a little bit edgy like that. You know, he's 66 years old.
He's pretty big, I think, in Germany. Is that right?
He's very big in Germany.
Didn't he have a video where he's like,
you know,
Superman,
where I'm big?
He's flying around.
I'm big in Guatemala.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm 6'2".
I have a similar situation in Ecuador. I can't go there.
You can't. You
the
see,
daylight.
it's Ecuador. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Ecuador. It's Ecuador.
What's that?
There you go. I really don't want to know what that looks like on camera. Me doing that.
Scott Stapp of the band Creed has signed with Napalm Records with everybody else and their brother, and he's releasing an album that's called Space Between the Shadows.
Sell my pity for a dime.
Yeah.
Just one dime. Okay, 2 dimes. Dime. I see. I didn't know he in that song he was talking about a dime bag. I guess he's totally clean now, right? I mean, seems like it anyway. From interviews I've seen, he looks like he's washed his face and combed his hair and stuff. No, I don't mean like clean like that. I mean like he's actually caring about his appearance again. So
I saw an interview. I guess you said he was in Australia or something, right? For this.
Yeah. From what I know, it was on. I think it was an Australian morning show of some sort.
And you're right. He did comb his hair, and I'll tell you what, it looks straight from 1989.
Well, it is what it is.
LaJean, the singer of Seven Dust, says that they are in the writing process right now for a new record.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Well, now
is this 9?
But I thought
album 9.
I thought Clinton was doing his own little side
or 10,
his own like solo stuff. Or is that didn't work still, or is he already?
No, I would imagine he would be finished with that before he went back in the studio with Seven Dust. So that should be, wrapping up, I'd imagine. And this is going to be full plugged as well. He's going to use his own name and because before Hello Demons Meet Skeletons was his other solo project.
That's right.
And it was all acoustic, produced by Corey Lowry, his brother. And I think his brother will probably be producing it again. But this is going to be plugged, kind of similar to, I don't know if you ever heard Call Me No One, but Clint and Morgan Rose, the drummer for Seven Dust, they had a little solo project, I guess you want to call it, the two of them from Seven Dust, and they named it Call Me No One. And Clint was the singer. I actually went and saw that at Zydeco in Birmingham and talked to him for a little while.
That must have been a while ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a while back.
Like mid-2000s, somewhere in there?
2012, 2013, really? Somewhere in there. Yeah. 2012, probably.
Yeah.
Skillet's releasing a new single in May.
I just bought a new griddle.
Oh, good.
I thought we were talking about cookware.
Well,
Oh, the band Skillet. Aren't they like inspirational, kind of religious a little?
no, I think they just sit around and eat cheese sandwiches.
Check that they make in this Skillets.
But seriously, the Flyleaf
Are they
singer
grilled cheese?
came out and did a tour with them, or like maybe a few shows she filled in.
Didn't they have a song on the radio together or no?
I don't know.
Because they have a song on the radio and it's got the chick's voice. It's actually a pretty cool song. It's one of the few songs that when it comes on the radio, I'm like, cool. Yeah, it's a good song.
They're from Memphis, and they have put out a lot of stuff. They've been around for a while, so
yeah,
they've kind of
they've been around for.
They've kind of went from Christian rock radio to now more mainstream over the years. And I don't know if you've noticed this or if you've listened to them enough to notice this, but if you go back and listen to, let's just say, for example, their first 4 or 5 records when they weren't as mainstream, I think the singer has changed his voice to sound like, I believe his name is Adam Gunter, the 3 Days Grace guy.
Right, yeah.
His voice has slowly changed into the 3 Days Grace sound. And
I haven't really paid attention to that.
And in turn, they got more mainstream play. Anyway, that's my opinion. That's something I've noticed.
Good for them. I mean, they don't seem like they're doing it for the money. They really seem like they're doing it because it's what they do.
Oh, they're super talented. And that drummer, she can really go and sing at the same time and all that. So kind of like Rose from 7D.
Morgan.
Yeah.
He does all their screams and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, Vader sticks. But
now live, I guarantee those are
track.
backing tracks.
Yeah,
you can tell real. Because
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he'd be out of breath.
What do you do? Mushroom Head signs with Napalm Records, of course. Who do you think?
Well, ever since they got the new vocalist, things for them have been kind of a little bit different, right?
They lost a lot of members, including the lead
one
vocalist.
Of the guitarists, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, that too. And I think they're on their way to be the next Saliva.
They played here, like 3-4 months ago, and I just didn't care.
Man, I missed out. I should have went and saw them in 2015.
I think they were at Sidetracks.
I don't know.
The old Leanne's. So.
But they might end up being like a Saliva where none of the members have ever were part of the original lineup. No. This sounds like a fun tour. Foo Fighters, Weezer, Tenacious D. How about that? I could do without the Foo. I would go just to see Weezer.
I wouldn't mind seeing Foo, but wherever they play is going to be like a gigantic freaking like a football stadium, so you're not going to be able to see them. You'll be able to see them on a big giant TV monitor that's up above them. And if I'm watching them on a TV monitor, I might as well be at home watching them on my big TV as opposed to paying $180 to get into the show.
Or, I mean, I think pretty soon here we'll just be throwing on a VR headset and skipping the tickets.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah, front row, man.
Yeah.
Stained released a teaser video.
Really? Did they?
Yeah, it was something.
I had heard that there was rumors that they might try to get back together and do something,
but yeah, they're going to be coming out probably some show dates this year, and probably a new record in 2020.
The Megadeth album, the bass player Dave Ellefson, he's come out and said that their album now is looking like early 2020. So it just keeps getting pushed back and back.
Don't rush
just like all of them. But yeah, they're also, I think in October, they're doing the Mega Cruise tour that we talked about in an earlier episode. Probably episode 14 or 16, something like that. We talked about their Mega Cruise, which is, Megadeth's cruise. It's going to have a whole bunch of, well-known guitarists and different bands on there.
Striper.
I'm not sure about that, but anyway, it's in October is when the Mega Cruise is. But, this man's got a lot of things going on, so he probably doesn't have time for they just released, last month, they released the Warheads on Foreheads. I think we talked about that in the last episode. I actually listened to it, and the remixes are good. There's some things from the first couple albums that the mixes were a little bit messy, a little bit. You could tell that the levels were peaking in the mix, and which made everything a little hard to when everything's going so hard and it's just real fast and everything's just real loud. It's hard to really tell what's going on. Like, okay, this is a lot of power. That's all you can tell. Well, now you can really actually like, okay, that's what Dave's doing right there, and that's what Gar, Samuelson, and all of them are doing. So it's well done, and if you're a fan, go get it. It's good stuff. I just jammed it on Apple Music, but because I'm able to again.
I've always wanted to go to Shiprocked. Speaking of rock cruises,
I don't know who would be on that. So
there's been a lot of bands like Nothing More. I think was on the most recent one.
That would be awesome.
Seven Dust has been on it numerous times.
Really? Where does that one, is that leave out from the East Coast, or is it, because I know Mega Cruise leaves from LA and goes down to Mexico, and then it's like a 5-day trip.
I don't know, but we might have some listeners that go to Shiprocked. I know I'm friends with people on Facebook that go every single year.
Oh, wow.
So y'all drop some info in the comments about this year's Shiprocked if you have any info on that, about how much it is or who might be going or performing.
So did you see the about a month ago? Do you do Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Prime.
Well, the bass player Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue released a kind of a biopic. I think it's based off of his memoirs. It's called Dirt, and it was actually really good. I liked it. It was a little wild, like crazy, man. Those guys were nuts, right? But former Ozzy guitarist Jake E. Lee says that the scene in the Nikki Sixx memoirs biopic film on Netflix, Dirt, that shows Ozzy snorting the ants is fake. Jake says that he was there at the time that this allegedly took place and never saw Ozzy do that. And he doesn't care what the other guys say. There were no effing ants. Now, Ozzy says he doesn't remember snorting the ants, but he admits that he doesn't remember the entire 1984 tour with Motley Crue as a supporting act. No, right after that tour, he disappeared. I think he went to a Turkish monastery or something weird like that. He disappeared, buzzed off his head, went bald, and just dipped. Came back like 2 years later. But
sometimes you gotta get away.
Yeah,
like
well, I think
you gotta go to Africa.
Came back cleaned up, and I think that's when I don't know if that was it. No, The Ultimate Sin was the album that they went on tour for, which is a good album, but I don't know if it was No Rest for the Wicked. Anyway, there was an album that came out with Zakk Wylde on it. Zakk Wylde's first album. That was the one. Ozzy came back, and he was back like power style. He was back really good, cleaned up, ready to go. But I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, why would they put that in there then if it didn't really happen? But maybe, memory's a weird thing. You don't remember things exactly like they happen, and if you read up on memory, they've learned that that time that you fell off your bicycle when you were 9 years old, and for some reason it's stuck with you. You either did some major damage to your knee, or your dad laughed at you and said, "Get up, bitch," or something like that. Whatever. Mm-hmm. For some reason it did something to you that made you remember it. Your memory of that is not actually how it took place.
Right.
Memory does that. It's just the way that our brains work. So maybe, Motley Crue was so jacked up on whatever that they remember him doing it, but it never took place.
Just like Led Zeppelin, and there's a story about Led Zeppelin with a shark and a female, a baby shark and a female. And they kind of say that was kind of blown out of proportion.
I mean, they did some bestiality stuff.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. So just use your imagination. Tremonti says if it wasn't for alternate tunings, he would have already ran out of ideas a long time ago.
Well, the dude has. There are songs that he's done, even with Creed, where he uses literally every string, every fret. So you can tell he gets bored quickly.
Yeah.
So, and I love his interest in always trying to find that new shape of a chord, I love it. And he finds something. I'm like, how the hell?
Yeah, I mean, he's the reason I found
Jesus.
Dadgad
Oh,
tuning.
Yeah. Open D.
Yeah.
Open D's
So
nuts.
That's always an interesting
Had to
tuning
do
to
it.
play around with. Scott Weiland's estate is in trouble with the IRS. They're seeking $800,000
Well, he's dead, so I don't think he gives a shit.
for unpaid taxes between 2012 and 2014.
He probably banged more than that into his arm.
That wasn't in his system, by the way, when he died. It wasn't,
Really?
It wasn't heroin.
So,
No.
well, what was his overdose from then?
It was like
Too
he
much
was-
awesome.
he was suffering from manic depression, I think, or bipolar disorder. I think it was
Don't tell me he
bipolar
was on
disorder.
pharmaceuticals.
But yeah, it was pills and alcohol, but it wasn't heroin.
See, if he would have been doing heroin, then he'd probably be around still. I mean, let's just be honest.
well, I don't know. No one knows. Maybe.
So
His estate is the royalties each year on Scott Weiland's estate. This is the singer for Stone Temple Pilots. Makes $265K a year. Just, I guess, from songs being played on the
Of
radio
course, yeah.
and whatever. I would think it'd be a little more than that since he's been around since, the grunge era. He was kind of in the grunge era.
$265K. That's about 847 zillion plays on Spotify.
I don't know if they're paying out properly.
No, they're not.
Spotify's been in trouble. I
No,
got
there's-
some letters from some attorneys.
I've heard of
about
some people that are like they won't put their podcast on there. What the hell was this black hole thing that came up with a photo?
All right,
Now
well-
I had heard days before, in just a few days we'll get to see the image of the first black hole that we've ever caught and were able to. But then I seen that some kid programmed the actual images or something, or 800,000 lines of code or something like that. I mean, what
Right. So
the hell is that?
look, you have to locate them with the light that's around them, the stars and the gas and stuff that's being moved around or sucked around into them. And, obviously we don't have a lens or a camera with a zoom or a telescope that's going to see that far. So from what I understand, they used a radio telescope to collect data to build the image.
I think it was the day after you sent me a meme, and it was the image of that black hole, and then it was like Snoop Dogg with a blunt in his mouth, and the end of it looked just like it.
Right.
I looked at that and I'm like, that looks like the end of a blunt.
Yeah.
Like it ruined it for me.
It ruined it. Well, that was just a joke, but radio telescopes, they shoot signals out, and you bounce it all. It bounces off of things to let
But if
you
it
know.
goes
there's something
to a black hole, wouldn't the black hole just absorb the?
Apparently not. They wouldn't have used it to create the image.
All the images of imagery of black holes, which I'm sure were all drawn, artificial. They always show like a star system getting pulled into it, and it's all you see is those stars kind of like swirling into it. So I mean, how do they really know? How does anybody know that these things even exist? So
well,
science,
yeah, it's science.
kind of like climate change and abortions.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to not think that. We used to not know that they were just a theory. But now we know they're in the center of every galaxy. So yeah, I wish I had more information for you on this new black hole image, but I'm really not that impressed because I know it's not an actual image. So that's why I didn't really research it any further. But as far as naming it after Chris Cornell, of course I'm down for that. But really, we should probably name it after the person that theorized that black holes existed. So a 78-year-old man was pronounced dead at his home, was taken to the funeral home in a body bag, and woke up 2 hours later in the body bag.
Oh my! Oh fuck! Oh, that's awesome.
In the body bag.
So he was just taking a nap.
Yeah, and the funeral home just freaked out when the body bag started moving. You know.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sad thing is he's 78, so it's not gonna be too much longer until he's back in the bag.
Just a practice run, I guess. Wow.
Something else kind of funny. A 19-year-old, I think he worked at like a copy store or something.
Kinko's.
It's like an episode of The Office over here. And he said that he was sick of the negative energy of his coworkers. Mm-hmm. So he brought a vial of LSD and went into the fridge and was dropping it in their waters.
Oh my God!
And
why you tripping, dog?
Yeah, they started hurtling over, and cops came and they're charging him with, well, no charges were filed, but they're probably going to charge him with assault. So seems kind of light, right? Assault.
I think that's a waste of LSD. I mean, honestly, just
Bill Murray is going to be in a new movie. I'm excited about this one. It's called Dead Don't Die.
That's a fact, Jack.
And this is a zombie movie, kind of like Shaun of the Dead. Have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
No.
It's hilarious. Do yourself a
I
favor
have heard
and watch
that
it.
Isn't it kind of British humor, though?
Yeah, but it's funny.
I'm not into British humor. I can't watch
It's how
it.
I think his name's Simon Pegg that stars in it. I think he wrote it and directed it. That's kind of how he got into the industry.
I might have to check it out because I do like Bill Murray when he's playing comedic kind of stuff.
It's kind of Simon Pegg's Rocky.
Like that Lost in Translation was terrible. I wasn't into it.
But yeah, Dead Don't Die. Bill Murray in a zombie movie.
Any idea when that's coming out?
This year, I guess.
Is it being made right now or something?
No, the trailer's out, so it's coming. It's coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
And, you know, the first time we kind of saw him in a zombie movie was Zombieland with Woody Harrelson. He made a cameo.
I remember that.
Yeah, he made a cameo.
That was when around 2010, something like that.
I can't remember, but that was a good movie too. And Woody Harrelson is seeking Twinkies.
I think I saw that the same night we had like Redboxed some movies back when Redbox just came out. It was really cool, and I think we got that and the Book of Eli at the same time and watched them.
You know, ever since my Fire Stick, I haven't been to a Redbox.
Oh, I haven't been to it. Redbox. Our video store we had over here closed down finally. We had a family video right up the road here.
Okay.
Next to Bishop's.
Yeah, and they packed it in, huh?
Closed.
Threw it in the towel.
No warning either, because if I would have known, I'd gone in there and bought some shit.
Yeah.
Going out of business sale would be nice to know. But
yeah, I remember driving by a few, like a Blockbuster and a movie gallery when all that was going down, and thought about going in and getting some stuff, but I never did. Yeah, Mr. Orange Face. So
Cheeto.
So President
Cheeto.
He's been trying for a while to do some oil drilling in the Arctic. That has now been deemed illegal. So he's lost the fight on that.
Now, is he trying to drill, or is he just authorizing companies to do so? Because I don't think he owns any drilling companies, to my knowledge. But
no. I guess he's trying to, was trying to pass some things. Bush was trying to do that too. Bush was trying to drill in Alaska.
Why would anybody, I don't care whether you believe climate change is real or not, why would anybody think it's okay to go drill up in the Arctic for oil?
Right.
That's just the captain of the asshole team.
Well, he made one of the first things he did when he got into office was he made an oil lobby as part of his environmental cabinet or
the
something.
EPA or something.
But which brings me kind of to the next topic here. This happened in 2017, but I just want to throw it out there because, me and you have this debate back and forth about
2017. That was a year after you quit having cable.
Me and you have had this debate before about you think CNN is completely biased and far left, and my argument is that CNN is not as biased and far left as MSNBC and as Fox News on the right. That you can.
What button I just hit.
But anyway, so just to to let you know that CNN is not completely far left. They dropped an Islamic sympathizer named Reza Aslan that had a show called Believer that came on once a week back in 2017.
Aslan alam alaikum.
Yeah. But he tweeted that President Trump was a piece of shit and they dropped his show. So, CNN was, taken up for for President
and you
Trump.
think that's all clear? Yeah.
No,
all right, CNN's back to good.
No, I didn't say that, but I mean,
Look,
they're not.
I thought about this today.
It's not as bad as MSNBC.
Okay, I thought about this today because I've been kind of reviewing our old episodes.
Oh God.
Not, I go back through them and I check to see if we've grown as far as what we're doing right here. I don't care about the rest of it. And if we've grown and, if we've matured as far as gotten any better at this crap, basically.
And what were your findings?
Well, a lot of the time, first of all, you kind of
spit it out.
I've heard that all of my life, and it kind of is like a trigger for me to put a pair of freaking the scissors in your ear. Back when I was a kid, I couldn't talk. And they'd be, spit it out.
Oh, I don't do that to you.
That's okay, because when you say it, I just think of the Slipknot song. It's okay. Yeah. Things have changed. No, you like to... You don't come out and say that I'm a Trump fan or that I'm in the Trump camp, but you insinuate that I am with the things that you say. And anytime I say anything about, liberals this, liberals that, you're like, well, if all you watch is Fox News, that's all you're going to hear. And that's incorrect. I don't have cable, homeboy. I don't have cable.
The day that I hear
How can I watch Fox News?
The day that I hear you say, on this show or otherwise, the right-wing media, then I'll stop insinuating.
When I think the right-wing media is being as hypocritical and as unfair towards the president of this country, then I will.
Take a look at the 8 years Obama was in office. Boom. There you go. Take a look at the 8 years that Bush was in office. Boom. There you go. Look at Fox News.
The 8 years Bush was in office. Oh, no. I agree, because I was anti-Bush, and I was the last 4 years I was anti-Obama, but I kind of kept that particular hand of cards close to my vest. I did not walk around going, Obama sucks. Obama sucks. He's wrecking this country. Because the way I was raised, through, I wouldn't say because my mom and dad told me this, but the way my generation, when I grew up, you respected the freaking president, whether you liked him or not. You could disagree with him and say, he's being a dumbass, but you didn't ever not call him president, whatever. President, Reagan, President Clinton, President, whatever. You didn't ever, but they call him Mr. Trump.
We weren't always in the sex life of our movie stars or our sports heroes, like Tiger Woods, for a good example. So yeah, now also I think that bleeds over into us not calling the president the president. It's just, it's the way things are now, social media, whatever you want to call it, tabloids. When JFK was president, it wasn't on the front page that he was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe.
Of course not.
So
well, I mean, back then that was a lot more taboo too. There were ethics, that were and a certain etiquette that was just that journalists stuck to. You just didn't talk about those things.
Right. So I mean, that's why people just say Trump, and they don't feel the need to be polite and say Mr. President or what have you. It's just a different time we live in, unfortunately. But however, the debate about right-wing media versus left-wing media, I think Fox News did the absolute worst that a news channel can do, which is they have blood on their hands. They were the hugest cheerleader for the Iraq War.
Yeah,
they said the word WMD and all this every single day.
I back you on that. You're right. They were overly supportive of the president and the administration that perpetrated a totally unnecessary war that has cost us thousands and thousands of lives and billions of dollars, if not probably already into the damn trillions, and created a level of unrest in the region that probably will never be undone.
So for me, just for me personally, my opinion is that, until the left-wing media promotes bloodshed and violence like Fox did, they get a pass most of the time.
Well, what was running through my head when I was kind of reviewing those old episodes today was, I want you somehow, I don't know how to do it, but I want to get you access to
TV,
to CNN and
Right.
Fox News. No other news channels, because it doesn't matter. I want you to have access to those. So what's up, pal?
Oh, just life on Mars again.
How many
Satan's
times
break.
are we going to find life on Mars? And then not really find life on Mars.
Well, last year they were saying they found microbes just underneath the surface. Of course they did. In a paper published in the Journal of Astrobiology and Space and Science Reviews, researchers believe they may have found evidence of life currently living on Mars. There's a fungi-like growths. The panoramic camera captured the image below on Sol 37. Opes, 37th Martian day, showing lobes that may be, is that lichen growing on Mars? Lichen, that's right. Lichen growing on Mars.
I liken that to microbes. Gotta do it.
They're comparing this to lichen that they've seen on Earth. Right here.
Is there anywhere for you to liken that post? It just never quits. The dad jokes.
15 specimens were photographed by NASA growing out of the ground in just 3 days.
Wow.
Adding to the evidence supporting that microbial life still exists on Mars is the fact that there are measurable differences in the amount of methane in the atmosphere based on the season.
Cow farts.
And we know that there's a monolith on, I think it's called Bonobos, or I might be saying that wrong, but one of the moons of Mars, there's a monolith, a big,
Like 2001's Space
Yep.
Odyssey? Really?
just a giant,
Onyx.
block wall on Mars's moon. Even Buzz Lightyear talks about that. Aldrin.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, shit. Amazon has hired workers. This is true. Amazon has hired workers to listen to Alexa conversations. They've hired thousands of workers to listen to Alexa
That's why
conversations.
we'll never have one of those.
Amazon claims it's a small number of interactions from a random set of customers and that the workers do not have access to sensitive info like names and addresses. I don't care. They have access to my private conversations. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one of those things, take it out, throw it in your barbecue grill, and light it up. I'm 48 years old, dude. I've been doing the painting thing for 30 years. I'm really tired of it. And I'll be honest, I've been listening to this podcast. It's a very young podcast. It's called Human Up. It's kind of a play on the words man up. Won't you man up, bitch? Well, it's Human Up. And I'm going to take my man card and just dip it in pink paint right here real quick. But it helps you get awareness of your emotional intelligence. Some of us have emotions that we don't know how to analyze them, what to do with them, and what they mean. And this show, through 20 minutes at a clip, helps you kind of work through that. It helps you. It basically directs you in a certain aspect of it, and it tells you, let's look at that for a minute. And it's done by this guy named Victor Ung, U-N-G. He's Asian, but he's cool, man. He kind of talks kind of like we do, just kind of off the cuff.
Any relation to General Chang?
No relation to General Chang. It's Victor Ung, U-N-G. So, anyway, I'm actually I sent him a submission to be in one of his podcasts regarding the topic of excitement.
Oh, cool.
So we may or not.
You have a lack of
Yes,
excitement.
yes. Well, I've analyzed it. What if I won the lottery? That would make anybody feel excitement, right? They'd be excited. I don't think I would. I think I'd just be like, oh, finally.
You could give me half of it, and I'll show you excitement.
Now, my wife gets excited when she opens a new bag of dog food for the dog. So, I mean, she gets overly excited about everything. So I just live vicariously through her. So anyway, that was kind of, the submission that I handed to him. But so that kind of had me, thinking, I'm sick of painting, dude. I mean, I'm good at it. I make good money.
What would you do besides this podcast? Obviously,
I got it.
But what else? Would you?
I saw it the other day as it came on TV. I think I would do very well at this. Why are you smirking? You just know, like where I'm going. I'm being for real here. I'm talking about changing my life for the better. I think I would do very well at being a non-attorney spokesperson. If you've ever sat down in a chair, if you've ever breathed in oxygen and exhaled carbon dioxide, you may be entitled to a large settlement. Mic check.
Mic check.
Go. Yeah, keep talking.
Check.
Talk,
yeah, hey, Tess.
Right,
hey.
Okay. Do you want to hear yourself real quick?
No, I do not. Okay, I guess I have to. All right, thank you.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to
Hey, man.
You
Pay the
cameras
utilities.
right here. I'll put this at the
I
end.
think most of the problem is just as well as I do.